Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Civil War from writer-director Alex Garland, who I'm a huge Alex Garland fan. Ex Machina is one of my favorite films, Annihilation, one of my favorite horror films, and I loved Men a lot more than most people did. And going into this film, just when I heard about this, I was very adverse to this movie existing. In a current climate where we are in America, I feel like this is a little insensitive and bad timing to throw out a film like this with all good intention. I know with Garland putting the perspective like this as a fascist leader, having people of unlike ideologies coming together to fight injustice like this, but not everybody's going to see it that way and just see like, oh, there's a fascist leader, we need to go kill him and take down the government, which there's plenty of people in this country that already feel like that, and I feel like this is going to incite some people, if they see it at that point. All of that out of the way, I do appreciate that this film does not take a political stance. It shows that, like, hey, people do need to come together from different backgrounds and ideologies to take down injustice. And that, I feel like, is an important thing to remember upon watching, because, like, that didn't really sink into me upon first watch, and this film repulsed me a bit. Especially once it gets to its third act climax in Washington, D.C., where you're seeing actual monuments being destroyed, and, like, shooting and invasion happening in the White House, and you're just like, this is a lot. And this isn't like Independence Day, it's not Olympus Has Fallen, it's not stuff like that. This feels very raw and very real, and Alex Garland crafts an incredible film, and I feel like that's part of the issue, is this hits way too viscerally and way too close to home at times. And that kind of holds it back for me, because it just seems it seems insensitive in the context of things, and I understand, like, he's not from America, this is somebody else from the outside looking in, but, like, dude, what the hell? With all that being said, this film is incredibly well directed. The tension, this is one of the tensest films I have watched in a long time. Alex Garland knows how to craft a film, and the work between him and cinematographer Rob Hardy, who has done amazing work in so many films as of late. This film is incredible from its sound design as well. It's all about journalism. The main characters are journalists, and there's moments where there's crazy action. They take a still photo, and it just cuts to this black and white still photo. And just the way that is edited is so impactful. There's a couple of moments throughout this film where that hits, and you're just like, taken aback. I watched this in IMAX. It was incredible. The sound design, the quieter moments where you just hear the bugs and the birds and stuff like that out in the woods, or like the visceral nature of these attacks, the helicopters flying. It's what they do with this budget, which is indeed the biggest budget A24 has ever given. I think it's like $50 million. They do a lot with it. And this movie looks incredible. There's moments where this film is so gorgeous with its use of focus. Certain things being purposely out of focus, but feel so evocative in what they're portraying. There's moments where you just see the evil of war and violence and hate. There's one particular moment that you probably know from the trailers with Jesse Plemons, and it's just so raw and white knuckling at that point. There is some grotesque, just horrific visuals that happen in this film. There's some extremely engaging moments in terms of, like, these are journalists who throw caution to the wind and are in the thick of it, capturing everything. I think it's important, the idea of free impartial press, but also there's a bit of obsession here where it's like, we gotta get, like, the best shot in a competition, and there's a bit of ego there that you see in some of these journalists, and you see it grow in Kaylee Speeney's character, Jesse, throughout the film, and it climaxes into one of the most heartbreaking moments of the film. You have Stephen McKinley Henderson, who is really the polar opposite, and he's trying to be the moral anchor here. And it's Kirsten Dunst who's the one who's balancing all of this throughout the film, and she gives one of her best performances in a long time. You have Wagner Moura, who plays Joel, who's more of like the adventurous type. He's the one that is really pulling out those elements out of Jessie, this young woman who's really getting into this. There's so many harrowing, intense, and just absolutely breathtaking moments. The music and the sound design, Jeff Burrow and Ben Salisbury craft a score that's just so atmospheric and unnerving in just the way that Alex Garland creates his films. This film will sit with you for a long time. I might come around and take a step back and not think so harshly about the context that this film came out, but I feel like it's hard in today's moment in American society where this film comes out. I feel like you could have told this story about violence and journalism and all of these themes in a way that wasn't so pointedly about today's society that it could provoke things. Like, I feel like this film is a bit irresponsible, but what it does as a film and what it accomplishes is incredible. And I know people who've already been saying this is a masterpiece. From a filmmaking standpoint, I really think it is. It's just hard. Film does not come out in a vacuum. It comes out in context, and the context here makes this a really hard pill to swallow. But those are my thoughts on Civil War. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.